It's September 14th, 2025. And I decided to record myself because I just listened to Theo Von post a 17-minute clip of just him discussing, how he felt about the Charlie Kirk assassination. And it's been something that's been weighing pretty heavy on my mind for the last 4 days or so. And I just can't seem to shake what happened. And it seemed to help him out a little bit to just kind of talk into something and record it. So I've never really done this before, but I figured I would do it today. It's like I got nothing better to do. I mean, the situation is like what happened is I just didn't really anticipate to affect me this much. Like, I think back to when Trump got shot and he almost got killed. It made me angry for what happened, but he also didn't die, and I also didn't watch him die like I did with Charlie Kirk. That was pretty heinous to get pretty much a front row seat to watching him get his neck blown out. Really just get blown apart in front of me and blood gushing everywhere, and he clearly died like instantly. Even though the news tried to make it seem like he was still alive for a while. I mean, I'm no expert, but if you saw the close-up video, I mean, it was pretty obvious he was dead pretty soon there. But anyway, going back to the Trump thing, I mean, I don't think that would have, if Trump got assassinated, I don't think that would have affected me the way this has. Because Trump is a politician, he's a businessman, he's, I'm a supporter of him in certain ways, and I voted for him. But he has done bad things, and he's hurt people. Because he's a politician, he's a lawmaker, he's a president, he's a whatever. You know what I mean? Those people directly impact people's lives. And he, certainly isn't innocent of some of the things he's done or whatever. I don't even really know exactly what they are, but I'm sure he's not innocent. It still would have obviously impacted me to a high degree, but not nearly, I don't think, what was like with Charlie's death. And I think it's because Charlie is not a lawmaker. He's not a politician. He goes out and he gives people a platform to debate his point of view. And he allows them to speak their mind, and then he speaks his mind, and that is it. And yeah, sure, some of his point of views are controversial, and I don't agree with all of them. And when he was alive, I didn't really even watch his videos that much because, I don't know, that type of stuff, the political stuff makes me angry even if I agree with it. So for him to be assassinated for just speaking, not to mention it was in front of his wife and his kids and thousands of college students, it's just, I don't know, nothing's really ever made me feel this way. And it's definitely a mixture of anger, helplessness, I don't know, and maybe it's because I watched the video of him getting shot essentially in real time. I mean, I saw it probably minutes after it happened somehow. I don't even understand how I could have seen that so fucking quickly, but me and a lot of my friends watched it. And I live out in Maui, and all my friends are back in the Northeast United States, so and we were just talking over text, group chats, whatever, and we were all completely on the same page and just blown away. Talking about it in real time, and we were all like, I don't know, man, he's probably not gonna make it, and the news is claiming he's alive, and then just in real time to like pretty much see that he's dead. You watch that video and it's just so gruesome. And I'm not alone. I think a lot of people have seen that video that didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. I regretted watching it immediately. But maybe that's why it's affecting me so much. And then the comments online on Reddit, I made the mistake of going on Reddit, of people cheering it on, and that at least accredited mostly to probably bots. Probably wasn't even real. That's just to create further division, right? That's just to divide people and to make people hate each other. they're probably not real comments. So at least you can rationalize that. But like some people posted on their Instagram stories that day or whatever, pretty much in support, being like, oh, well, you know, he supported gun violence, which isn't true, or whatever the post was. They're like, and pretty much just like happy that it happened. They're like, oh, well, you know, sucks for you. It's like, how can you watch that video and have that immediate reaction to anyone? I don't understand that. And then it's even more apparent because he's really just a guy who never really truly negatively impacted anyone directly, because all he did was speak. He didn't enact any laws. He didn't directly impact anyone's life in a negative way other than just through his speech. When it wasn't even, it's not even a speech, it's debating, because he would give people a platform to debate him. So I just don't understand how you could have so much hatred for someone based off of their opinions, which really, they're mostly just conservative talking points. They weren't anything radical. So, and then I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and like, oh, you know, what if there was a far, because I'm definitely a conservative leaning person, so I'm like, okay, what if it was a similar person, you know, but on the left side that I don't like their views. And I thought of like that Dean Withers guy who really pisses me off, and I don't like him at all. But I just can't see myself celebrating him getting assassinated and then me watching it happen. I can't see that. And then I thought about the healthcare CEO. And I remember when I heard the news of that, and then the United Healthcare guy, and I heard, you know, what he had done, which was essentially deny healthcare for, I don't know, however many of the people who had his United Healthcare, like, denied them their rightful surgeries or funding or whatever. You know, they pretty much, he like set up an AI system or whatever to just I don't even know exactly what happened, but he pretty much defrauded a bunch of people of healthcare that they've been paying for their whole lives, and then didn't allow them to use it when they actually needed it. And a lot of those people then died because they couldn't get the necessary surgeries or whatever, or healthcare or attention needed. And I was happy when that guy was dead. I was like, yeah, good. But I didn't see him get shot, right? There's no video of it. But then I'm also like, well, that guy actually was evil, though. Like, that's not black. Like, that's pretty black and white. There's no gray area there. Like, that guy has directly contributed for like probably thousands of people's deaths, or, you know, wrongful deaths, because they couldn't get the health care that they pay for. Right? So that guy actually did completely impact people negatively. So maybe that's why I felt that way. So then I'm like, that's not even comparable to the Charlie Kirk situation. And then I think, like, okay, well, you know, I didn't like Biden at all for a lot of reasons, so I'm not going to get into. But even towards the end of his presidency, not even the end, pretty much the beginning of his term, I mean, it appeared that it was elder abuse to me. And I felt bad for the guy. I was like, this is wrong, you know? This is really wrong. So I think if I watched him get assassinated on live television, again, even though he's not comparable to Charlie Kirk at all, because he actually has negatively impacted people in his life through his actions and whatever, you know, policies and laws or whatever he's been a part of, I just don't see myself celebrating, even though I did not like the guy at all. I was completely against him. So I don't understand that. I think that a lot of people are struggling out there mentally because they're being indoctrinated by their phones every day. And I learned at a very young age the propaganda that social media spews and how it negatively affects you. And I have since, you know, made it an effort, a concerted effort to relinquish myself from that by deleting a lot of my social media, because I don't want to be propagandized and I don't want to be radicalized. But a lot of these people on the left it seems like they've completely allowed themselves to be fully propagandized, because there's a major echo chamber where all the mainstream media agrees with them and pushes their agenda. Whereas if you're on the conservative side, the really only mainstream media outlet you have is Fox News, and those guys are a bunch of idiots, and they don't even really push conservative ideals that much. They're pretty much just dumbasses. So just like the rest of them, you know what I mean? They're really no better than any of the other sides, but pretty much every other mainstream media outlet is left-leaning. Almost all of them. I mean, just the general news is. So maybe that's why it feels right to them, because everyone's on their side, seemingly. I don't know. And then to me, the thing that pisses me off is that I almost immediately I was like, okay, they're going to blame this on someone who obviously didn't do it. They're going to blame it on someone there's no way they could have pulled this off. Just like with the Trump attempted assassination, they had like a 20-year-old autistic kid who supposedly missed him by a quarter of an inch on his ear from a couple hundred yards out, and he somehow evaded all of a former president's security detail and got on a roof and almost gunned a running presidential candidate down. But he's like literally an untrained 20-year-old autistic kid. I mean, I'm not stupid. And the media they believe that we are. And not for one fucking second did I think that guy did it. Obviously, that's not what happened. Just like Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't the guy behind the JFK assassination. There was clearly multiple shooters, right? It was obviously an inside job to some degree, right? Just like the Vegas shooting, the Mandalay Bay, that fat fuck that they blamed it on, when there was very clearly multiple shooters from multiple different vantage points fighting off multiple different weapons. And the weapon they claim they used, if you ask anyone who's in the military and they listen to the audio, is obviously not the weapon that was firing off in the video. So it doesn't even make sense. It was sloppy. So I knew immediately, I'm like, they're gonna pin it on some guy who absolutely is not, could absolutely not pull off what he did. And what do? They release 2-3 days later, it's some limp dick fucking 20-year-old college dropout with no military experience that somehow planned the entire event, evaded all of the security cameras. He took a high caliber rifle onto a college campus, somehow concealed. I don't know, who knows how he did it, without anyone noticing, during the time of a large gathering of like thousands of people, and then somehow got onto the roof of a building that he's unfamiliar with because he didn't go to the school anymore. Okay? Set up and then nailed a perfect shot from 200 and something yards out with a significant elevation difference. I'm sure there was wind. There was a sea of people in front of him. I mean, I'm not trained. I'm not a military trained marksman either, but I don't think I have to be to know that your average fucking Joe's not making that shot. You fucking nuts. So I'm not gonna believe that either. They make people out to be fucking idiots, but I'm not an idiot. And you can say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, whatever. Is it? Or is that just common fucking sense? That this was obviously done. I don't know. I don't know who. I don't know why. Okay, I can at least infer why, but I don't know who. You know, is it the typical culprits that are behind all this shit? Probably. Right? But this was a coordinated effort behind the scenes. This is a conspiracy. Right? And I guess maybe the reason is that maybe he spoke out against the wrong group of people. and they knew that he had very, very strong influence on the young generation. They wanted him out of the picture, so maybe that's what happened. Or maybe people realizing that he was changing people's minds, the young people's minds, which is the important generation of college students, to get out of just kind of that extremely far left-leaning mindset, and he was turning people and changing their minds for the better. So maybe that's what it is, or maybe there's something completely different going on that's much deeper and much more sinister than I know, because I don't really know a whole lot about this guy. All I know is that he didn't deserve to be assassinated. His family didn't deserve to bear witness to the assassination of their father, their husband, and it's truly sickening. And it's very upsetting. And I'd like to think that there's going to be some sort of justice, proper justice served, but there won't be. There never is. There never is, because we live in a world where there's a deep, dark, evil presence out there looming in the distance that's usually behind all these major events, and they always get away with it. They always do, and it's exhausting, and I'm fatigued over it, and they keep getting away with it every fucking time. And I know it's happening, but I don't know exactly how, and I don't know exactly who's behind it, but I know it's happening, and I know that there's almost nothing I can do about it. And it's very upsetting, because it just seemingly never ends. It's always something. And now you can't even go out and speak in public and provide the public with a platform without getting assassinated for it. The world's not in a great place right now for a lot of reasons. I'm starting to wonder if it ever has been. You know, has this been going on forever? I don't know. But I'm pretty shook up by the whole event. It's pretty upsetting. And I'm not sure what to do about it. And I'm not sure if there's ever going to be any closure on this. I doubt there will be. I just hope that it doesn't, even when it gets out of the news cycle, which I'm sure they're rushing to get it out of the news cycle as fast as possible. I just hope that the people really remember, and we don't let them forget, and that we let them know that we fucking know what happened. And they'll put a documentary out about it in like a week somehow. They always fucking do. They'll profit off of the event, and they'll put it out, and they'll control the narrative, and they'll make a bunch of bullshit up about how it happened, and they'll make a full series documentary about the killer and his background, and they'll say that he accompanied his father to the shooting range once or twice, and that he knew his way around a gun, kind of, and that somehow justifies his expert fucking military level marksmanship. And they'll completely gaslight you, and they'll change the way that everything went down, even though we all know how it went down. They'll change the information, they'll change the facts, and they'll cement that in history. And then when something else bigger happens and we forget about this, then that's all we'll have left, is we'll have their story of what happened, even though we all know that's not what happened. And that's why I have the videos saved in my phone, even though they're horrific and I never want to look at them again. But I want to make sure that for a sanity check, when they change what fucking happened, like they always do, I want to have the information on me, and I want to know what fucking happened there. So those are my thoughts.